Market conditions majority bullish, 12 and 2 here on S&P Futures, up slightly this morning. We are getting still a little bit of demand right here at the upper end of this demand block, which is right at that 63.70 range roughly on S&P Futures, and softening here a little bit. You can see that number of clicking back and forth between 13 and 12, and just getting some, like I say, just a little quiet softness right here towards the upper end of this range. Additional supply being created. Demand is just not quite there as of right now. There may not be enough catalysts. That's going to be the issue going forward over the next few weeks, to see what additional catalysts are in the market to push us higher from here if there is going to be additional demand. But there is a weakness that's starting to present itself here towards the upper end of the range. Nothing overly concerning as of yet, since we are finding some demand at these locations, but watch that closely to see if we do break down through this range and revisit that 6200 area, that 6113 area on the 236 ultimately is still in momentum and still the upper end of that playground. But let's watch to see where we end up right here. I'm going to skip over and go to the breadth of the market. We're sitting at 61. We've talked about that. We've got tight compression, majority bullish here at 14 and 5, or excuse me, at 9 and 5 on breadth. So we're just not getting a full participation. 60% in overall uptrends as identified or defined by the 50-day moving average, and we're just not extreme here as well. The question is, which is going to pull? Is S&P going to pull more stocks into the uptrend, or are the majority, or of those 40% of stocks that are downtrends, are more of those going to pull to the downside? We're kind of at this area where we could kind of go either way right here. We're seeing VIX increase a little bit here, 11 and 3. You've got 3 ticks towards the bullish side of things, which is bearish for stocks. You've also got Dow Jones Industrial Average really making an attempt at that supply location. Can't quite seem to break out of it, although that still looks like a bullish price pattern where it is testing these highs right here as well. Triple Q's also getting a little bit deeper pullback, a little more weakness here, 11 and 3 versus the 12 and 2 that we're seeing on the S&P and the Dow. Russell 2000 is sitting at 14 and 0 still attempting at even breaking its way into that supply block. You can see it a little bit better here on the weekly time frame. This just massive overhead resistance that is deflecting the Russell 2000 currently. USO, we've been looking at this 50% retracement at 72. It's working a little bit more bullish here, 74.45. 74.82 is the 382. If it could break out above that and hold that range, that's a little bit more bullish for oil right here. Majority bullish at 9 and 5, and pre-market looking like we may get a little bit of a bid to the upside. Gold 306 currently, and still in its overall uptrend. Not a whole lot has happened here. We haven't been able to talk much about gold for 3 or 4 months. It's just been moving sideways in this overall uptrend. Still a bullish pattern. Still be watching for opportunities on pullbacks to accumulate if you are adding into gold right here. We're seeing the 2-year hold at 379 this morning. Overall price pattern still kind of fading to the downside. We've got majority bearish on the weekly time frame working its way back again. The issue and the question with bonds is going to be inflation. It's still elevated at 2.7, I believe. Fed wants it at 2%, so more than likely not going to be changing interest rates a whole lot until that inflation number can prove that it can come down. We're seeing that same thesis here on the 10-year Treasury at 4.31. Couple stock ideas to consider today. We've got 17 in that new buy list today, one of which is IMRX. Nice confirmation bar, massive volume, moving back into momentum. A couple other names that are interesting. FTCI, which is in the air taxi space, is also, it's already been in momentum, but moving back from that transitionary hold state back into bullish momentum here as well on FTI. See if that trend continues. And FTCI, which is in the solar space, this is also a really nice looking pattern, particularly when you have a sharp sell-off and then immediate demand pushing it right back in on big volume. Okay, so that's showing that there is demand here for a name like this. FTCI, nice looking price pattern for to consider in that solar play. That'll do it for today's update. Everyone have a fantastic day and a great weekend.